I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised. Alright, this is a few days old. Most people have already heard about the Isaac Kappy situation. But I figured I'd clear up a few things that I've heard on other channels that are incorrect. First, I've heard at least 2 other channels say that Isaac Kappy was a writer for Thor, and that's simply not true. With just a little bit of research, you can see that he was in Thor as a small, tiny part as a pet store clerk.
I need a horse!
We don't have horses, just dogs, cats, birds.
And give me one of those large enough to ride.
Hey, you still need a lift?
There are 8 writers credited, but he is not one of them. Another rumor that I've heard is that he's worth $14 million. And with just a little bit of research, you can see that is not true. Not even close. And now that we cleared that one up, let's hear what he has to say.
You probably thought I was going to be talking a lot about Seth and Claire and Yarvo.
He's talking about David Yarovesky, aka Dave Yarvo, who starred in Guardians of the Galaxy and was also a director of PG porn and this movie called Guiled. Notice the symbol?
And Matt Cohen and Dan Ferguson. Ooh. Where does Dan Ferguson work?
Matt Cohen is co-host of Bunny Ears with Macaulay Culkin. And Dan Ferguson is producer of Conan.
No, I'm not even going to talk about Spielberg, who, by the way, Steven Spielberg is a pedophile. Yep. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million. I just said it. But what I want to get into is, I want to get into like the bigger picture of how this stuff is all connected. Because when you're talking about like really elite levels, the name of the game is blackmail. So they want something on you that they can hold over your head so they can basically own you and tell you what to do.
Well, we already knew this. Look at this video I made over a year ago. Saturday, May 6, 2017. My dog's taking a piss. Our so-called leaders are controlled by being blackmailed, by being pedophiles, are either placed in there because they're easier to control. You squeeze that puppet's balls, it does whatever the fuck you say.
And they film it. And then they own you. So that's what runs the whole system, basically. They want compromised people because they're easy to control. And a lot of people, they'll just go along with it and do whatever just for fame or money or accolades or any of that stuff. I don't understand it. Some people are just like really into the evil shit. Yarvo. Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. I'm sorry if this is the kind of bursting your bubble. All this information is new.
Well, this isn't new news to me. Enter Sarah Ruth Ashcraft. Months ago, I covered her in a video called Jafar Ritual Abuse about Jonathan Freeman. And the only reason I haven't covered her with Tom Hanks is I got a lot of shit for it. A lot of people don't believe her. All I can say is I don't really know anything. And I can't tell if she's lying or not. But I can look into some of her story. Here's some of the video I made a few months ago and what I can connect at least. Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, her Twitter. November 5th, 2017, she says, I was raped by Jonathan Freeman, voice of Jafar in Aladdin. I was told I should be proud he wanted to make a movie with me. He raped me in my bedroom, then downstairs in the basement. He and my dad, my Uncle Robert, Craig Hilborn, and our Filipino neighbor gang raped me, 11, my sister, 13, and her family friend, 11. Then they locked my sister and I in cages. So I found her father, John Ashcraft, and he was doing something called CPL, which to me kind of sounds like NXIVM type stuff.
I ran for Congress in the spring and did not have a successful campaign, but really learned an awful lot. And one of the key things was how much I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity came along to be involved with CPL, and I saw it as an opportunity to really grow the skills and learn the ropes so that I can be more effective in my ventures going forward. I'm not planning to run again for office. I may do that at some point, but that's not my intent. I'm creating a nonprofit coalition, the purpose of which is to promote a progressive religious worldview. I became involved with CPL, hopeful, but when I got to the first session, I was blown away and really pleased with it. I think that the structure of it is excellent. The staff and trainers are just remarkable, really well experienced, knowledgeable, and empathetic and able to help people figure out how to do these things. It's really excellent.
And I found a link to Barack Obama.
John Ashcraft and the next President of the United States, Senator Barack Obama.
Welcome to Farmington Hills, Michigan, Senator. Hello. I'm John Ashcraft, and I am a resident here of Oakland County, and I've been asked to share briefly before the Senator speaks just a couple of the experiences that I've had living within the economy that we've had in Oakland County and in the United States during the last 8 years under the Bush administration.
Then I heard Christina screaming. It sounded fake, like she was pretending to be scared. They opened the door. My Uncle Robert said, "Well, well, well, what do we have here?" in his Texas drawl. My sister then shouted, "Help me, help me, help me," again sounding fake, not scared. They made more of the initiation ritual / blackmail movie when I was in the cage. Later, I remember being coaxed out of the cage by my new stepmom. Fucking traumatized. Apparently I was the only one that felt this way. Everyone else seemed very okay with what was happening. My Uncle Danny, the drawing in the robe, was acting as the lead priest in the ritual that night, presumably because my dad was busy behind the camera. He had stolen wafers from Catholic Church for the event. He gave the leftover wafers to the people at the chili cook-off. And her Uncle Danny has a weird connection to Arkansas. He lived at a lot of addresses there. And he also worked for Johnson & Johnson. To me, this event feels like my dad has Cohen, his brothers, sisters, their spouses, and Craig Hilborn, a close family friend of all of theirs since childhood, made a pact that night, like they jumped in and created the necessary make your bones blackmail smut snuff film. Craig Hilborn, he's real too. He's serving a few years in prison for wire fraud against Johnson Controls. By the way, my Aunt Kate, Dad's sister, blocked me on Facebook now that I'm exposing her and her husband Robert, who is a big-time mutual funds banker for a very well-known financial firm. They made a lot of money, and I believe they're still making dirty money. They have 3 minor daughters. And also, this is true. She has an Uncle Robert and an Aunt Katie, and he does work for a bank. And they have daughters.
But it's time that this comes out into the open, because we are going to change the way everything works. Because at the top levels of wealth, of power, the very top levels, these people are just sick and psycho.
Fucking stoned.